We're beginning what's trending on a sad note today, actually. Let's begin what's trending with the devastating news in Oyo State, where at least 30 children lost their lives, with many injured in a stampede that occurred during a Christmas fun. The Oyo State capital on Wednesday. Well, according to reports, the children's fun fair was organized by the ex-wife of the Ooni of Ife, Queen Naomi.
I'm sure most of you may have heard of the news or you've seen the video where the ex-wife of Ooni of Ife, Queen Naomi, organized a Christmas fun fair. Okay, she invited children with a promise to give them 5,000 each. You understand? To celebrate Christmas. Now, over 30,000 children lost their lives. Well, I won't blame him, but for me, I won't blame her rather. For me, I was pondering on this thing. I hope somebody have not used some people for they might use some people for sacrifice. Now, I'm just saying it and waiting a reason, no. But however, I don't know. Is that the Atlantis as a result of not proper plan or something? A person of such status in this civilized world, how will you invite when you know that the hunger, the level of hunger in the land that is fearful? You invite children, probably to give them 5k. You understand? So you did put modality in place. You get a point for in case of a necessity, in case of any eventuality. You understand? To prevent such a thing, invite people for 5k, 30 children. Before I show you the video, let me pray one prayer for you. As this year comes to an end, neither you or your children, no member of your family, will end with this year. You will see the ending of the year. This year will not see your end. This year will not see the end of you and your children. Evil eye will not see you. Evil hand will not touch you. Evil leg will not locate you and your family. In Jesus' name. Please, let's watch the rest of the video now. Peter Obi has reacted to this. Arise TV also dissect it. Please, watch this video. Please share it. Please, above all, I want to know your takes on this. What do you think? To me, and if he said don't sacrifice some children, it's just where I take it. Let me know your take on it.
We're beginning what's trending on a sad note today, actually. Let's begin what's trending with the devastating news in Oyo State, where at least 30 children lost their lives, with many injured in a stampede that occurred during a Christmas fun. The Oyo State capital on Wednesday. Well, according to reports, the children's fun fair was organized by the ex-wife of the Ooni of Ife, Queen Naomi, who planned to host 5,000 children at the Islamic High School, Bashorun, where the children will win exciting prizes, scholarships, and other bountiful gifts before the tragedy occurred.
Bring water. Bring water, please. Bring water.
Only 5,000. Only 5,000. No money, no. Only 5,000. Oh, now I'm not doing fair. We're going to have Farabaleni. But now I to 5,000. I to 5,000. To the pay Farabale Bugua, or Jacori by. You lost it in there.
This was a really sad incident, really needless death that occurred in Oyo State. And I mean, there's been some response, especially from the governor of the state, Seyi Makinde, who put out a statement saying that the organizers of the event have been, taken into custody and investigations over the incidents have been initiated. He also said that put in place to prevent further deaths at the venue. I believe that they had, taken some of the casualty to the, nearby hospitals in Ibadan. But, there's been reactions, and I want to take Peter Obi's tweet before we discuss. Peter Obi wrote a lengthy tweet, and his statement reads in part: He said this tragedy, which occurred during what should have been a moment of joy, highlights the harsh realities of our society, a country where the scramble for basics such as food, drinks, and small gifts often lead to unimaginable sorrow. How did we as a people reach a point where children, the very symbols of hope and the future, lose their lives in the pursuit of something as simple as Christmas gifts? This calamity exposes the deep inequality, pervasive poverty, and desperation afflicting our nation. It also reveals a broader failure in event planning, crowd control, and the fundamental duty to safeguard human lives. As we mourn these young lives, let us commit to building a society where such incidents are unthinkable. The measure of a nation's greatness lies in its care for the vulnerable, and this moment should inspire us to create a safer, more inclusive Nigeria. We owe it to these children to ensure their deaths inspire lasting change. I mean, the part of Peter Obi's tweet where he mentioned failure of event planning. I believe the organizers of the event, like I mentioned, one of them was the ex-wife of the Ooni of Ife, who had, put out a statement at a radio station saying that, she was inviting children. I believe there was 5,000 of them, and 7,000 showed up. If you saw that crowd there, and at the time when the stampede occurred, there was no sort of safety measures to guard these children. There were children between the ages of infants to 13 years old. Ayo.
This is such a sad news, and first of all, our condolences to all families affected, and of course the governor of Oyo State, who has responded very swiftly to this incident. An eyewitness report from one of the parents in the Nation newspaper said that they'd arrived as early as, a lot of people had arrived as early as 5 a.m. 6 a.m. So there was a crowd already in front of the gate. It was when the gate was open. And I'm sure many of us in Nigeria have seen things like that, where a lot of people are pushing against the gate because there's so many people outside. So once the floodgates open, as it were, people just rush in massively. Before then, at that time, because of the crowd, some people had already started fainting. At that time, some people, of course, if you have children, very young children there, some people had fallen on the floor. And when you have a mammoth crowd like that, they were stepping on the children. And unfortunately, they lost their lives. It raises a lot of questions, and I'm glad that we've spotlighted the impact of poverty on people's reactions and response. 5,000 naira for 5,000 children was such a big deal that a mammoth crowd beyond 5,000 emerged. So the organizers should have taken that into context, knowing that since they didn't have any measures in place, whether a ticket, an armband, or a pre-registration, there was a possibility of an oversubscription of human beings coming there. What provisions did they make in the events that they had more people than required there? Maybe the first question to ask was the venue capacity. Could it take 5,000 people? Because if you have a crowd like that and then you see so many people, it means that perhaps the school wasn't even sufficient for the crowd that they were expecting. We see this happen a lot of times, and people take such risks. The other thing is, was there supposed to be a permit that should have been given for such a massive crowd gathering? Was that permit obtained by the organizers? If this wasn't done, then it's a case of negligence on their side. Was there provision for emergency responses? We've seen large events happen. There's no ambulance in sight. There are no paramedics in sight to respond to emergency situations like this. If that wasn't done, again, another case of negligence on the part of the organizers. Going on to go on radio later on to say, oh, we've reached capacity, was too late at the end of the day. So this is carelessness, negligence, but unfortunately, guess what? It's led to the loss of lives, and so people should pay for this. Because if we don't have examples of people not following due process when they want to hold such, even though it was in good faith, good gesture, if we don't have examples of this, then we're going to continue to see needless lives being lost. Finally, poverty. Poverty has been weaponized in such a way that we have turned our people to beggars. Yes. We've turned our people to almost animal-like situations. We saw this where we're sharing bread, people will be scrambling, killing themselves for a piece of bread. It highlights a failure as well of government to meet the needs of the people, such that desperate measures are taken for a piecemeal.
Yes.
It is very sad.
Yes, well said, Ayo. I mean, really, really sad incident. It's going to be a black Christmas for many families in Ibadan. May their souls rest in peace, and I hope that, the families get some justice.